You can't see me. Okay. Hello. I'm Olivia, and I'm the Witch of Wonderlust. So, today I'm doing a collaboration, which is really fun because this is my first collaboration. It is a collaboration with the Hardest Man in Tarot. He is a tarot reader here on YouTube, and he also has an Instagram, so I'll link those also. But we're doing a collaboration talking about our different rituals or the way we read for ourselves. So, let's get started. Wow, this is really hot. Today I'm drinking Ajari? I can't pronounce this. But it is African teas and coffee, and it means to employ in Swahili, which is really cool. I like this brand. I got it with my Sips by box a few months ago, my first Sips by box. It's just a really cool brand if you want to pause that and read that. But I will link that in the description below as well if you want to try that tea. It's a black tea, so if that's something that you're interested in. So the two tarot decks that I'm going to be using today are the Wild Unknown tarot deck. It's a really pretty deck. It's very modern, very popular. I got it for my birthday a few years back from Alex. And then this deck was graciously gifted to me by a wonderful artist in Italy. I'll link both of these decks below. This one is called the Rotten Eye Tarot. But because he's in Italy, he sent me how to pronounce it in Italian, and I'm going to try for you. Okay, I think it's Occhio Marchio Tarot? Occhio Marchio. I think is how he said it. Rotten Eye Tarot. Occhio Marchio Tarot. I'm sorry if I butchered that if you speak Italian, but that is what he said. He's a really wonderful artist, and it's all very interesting and very abstract and very otherworldly. So it's a really cool tarot deck. And let's get started. So first things first, a lot of people believe that you need to be gifted your first tarot deck, and I don't believe that. I bought my first tarot deck. My first tarot deck still works wonderfully for me. And honestly, if you don't connect to the tarot deck that somebody has bought for you, you're not going to use it, you know? So buy your own tarot deck if that's what you wish, or you can just suggest to other people, wow, I really love this tarot deck. Maybe for my birthday or for any gift-giving holiday, here's the link. So that is a misconception. You don't have to do that. The second thing is you don't have to cleanse every single time unless you want to. I like to use Palo Santo. I do not cleanse my decks every single time. I do not cleanse my space every single time. I will literally wake up in the morning still in pajamas with a cup of coffee in hand, sit down and pull out my tarot deck, and I will start reading. So if you don't want to cleanse your tarot deck every single time, you don't have to. People cleanse it in all sorts of different ways. You can use sound, you can use smoke, you can set it in a bucket of salt. A bucket? Who has a bucket of salt? Sprinkle some salt on it. Some people put a little bit of salt and rosemary in their tarot bags and cleanse it that way. You can set it out in the moon. Don't set it out in the sun, Dylan, or it'll bleach your cards. Some people simply just shuffle their decks to kind of get the energy flowing. That's what I like to do. I like to shuffle my deck every time and kind of get the stagnant energy flowing, if that makes sense. And that's what I feel works best for me. Some people like to knock, some people like to blow on their deck. Honestly, it's whatever works for you. So the way I like to read for myself, I used to use a lot of spreads because I thought that I had to use a spread in order to read for myself. And spreads are really helpful, but I've actually found myself not using spreads a lot lately. I will just pull a bunch of cards, or actually, I will just shuffle my cards until a card pops out and then just use whatever pops out because I feel like that is what the deck wants me to read. And or sometimes I will simply shuffle it until I feel I'm done, and then I can just pick off the top like that because I'm reckless. Or I will shuffle my deck and spread the deck out like so and just use my intuition or whichever card calls out to me, and those are the cards that I will choose. I keep getting this Ace of Cups. Even though I'm not reading for myself quite yet, every time I'm pulling, I keep getting this Ace of Cups. I don't know. A lot of people do a card of the day, and Dylan, he suggested to do a card of the day at the end of the day. And this is because if you pull the Tower at the very beginning of the day, you're going to be freaking out, thinking, oh my God, what is going wrong? What chaos is going to completely deconstruct my life today? And you're just going to be worried, and then you're going to kind of create the Tower within your day because you're so anxious. So he suggested to pull a card at the end of the day and look back at the day and then understand, oh yeah, I see where I found the Tower because I had this whole blow up with my boss at work or anything like that. So I thought that was a really good way to use a card of the day. I don't do a card of the day. I will just read whenever I feel like I need to read. I don't really have a structure, to be completely honest. So yes, let's get started. Another thing, you don't need to put your tarot in silk. A lot of people have told me, oh my gosh, it's not wrapped in silk, everything's gonna go wrong, but that's not true. I have wrapped whatever I think is pretty and soft and comfortable and that I want to read upon or put my tarot decks in, and they seem pretty happy, so I don't think that they are bougie enough to just require silk and nothing else. So if you want to try this with me, go ahead and grab your deck. You can print some out online, you can create your own, and you can even use playing cards if you don't have a deck quite yet. I used playing cards. That deck was very possessive and I got rid of it, which was really weird because I was like, this is fun, and then I started playing with the cards and reading what they were saying, and I was like, this is not fun anymore. So I would grab a deck of some sort and a notebook. This can be any scrap notebook. This is like a brain dump notebook. There's nothing super crazy special that it's just my tarot notebook. It's not. I write my tarot readings kind of anywhere. I will write them in my phone, in this book. I have a bunch of entries in my grimoire, in random other journals all over the place. So don't feel like you need just a tarot reading book, but it's helpful because then you can always look back and be like, oh my gosh, I did a reading on my next 6 months. And then 6 months later, you're looking back and realizing that all of these things came to fruition. And it's kind of cool to see that happen because you look at it and then sometimes you realize that what you thought you were reading, it happens, and then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought that it was this, but it was actually this other event. I don't know. Just write them down. It's really important to keep track of it. And also when you keep track of tarot readings, especially if you're just learning, it's going to help you so much. So that's just a crash course. I will be doing a video on tarot with Dylan, who's been reading for 20 years. So he is much more experienced in that realm than I am. But this is my personal way that I read for myself. So this is the way I personally like to shuffle. I just like to shuffle until I have a card. So I have the Father of Swords, which is the King of Swords in this particular deck. So generally, if I'm just reading, I want to know what I need to focus on for the day. I will focus that question while I'm shuffling. So what do I need to focus on today? What do I need to focus on today? All right, so it just gave me 3 cards, which is a usual, like, quick and easy, but not just one card, but not like the whole Celtic cross. So I have the 3 of Cups. I have the Devil. And I have the 7 of Wands. So I would get from this, I would look at it, and I'm not using a particular spread. There are a whole ton of spreads that you can use for 3-card spreads. There's some amazing ones. I actually love 3-card spreads because they're quick, easy, to the point, and if you need clarification cards, you can always pull more. That's my personal thing. Some people love to do big spreads all at once. Some people like to just pull one card, so that's completely up to how you want to read. And again, I don't use like a particular spread of this card means this, this card means this. I just kind of read them and figure out what they mean to me. So 3 of Cups is a community. It's friendship. It's just kind of like having that emotional bond with a group of people. So I would assume that this is one of my covens, either my real life coven or the Wonderlust coven. The next one is the Devil. So the Devil is either temptation, and or self-imprisonment is what I read it as. The next one is Seven of Wands, perseverance. It's very like getting things done. So sevens is like spirituality, it's adventure, understanding something. So this and wands are action. So I would say that I would need to take more action. I need to focus on taking action in the realm of spirituality or explore more with this passion that I have. And that's why I'm assuming that it's probably the Wonderlust coven, because that's kind of what I'm exploring right now. That's kind of what I'm getting into. And then just to not be, I guess there might be temptation somewhere in there. And I'm sure, obviously, there's going to be temptation in this, in some kind of sort, and or I shouldn't limit myself. I shouldn't be self-imprisoning myself with maybe ideals that I think that I should be living up to, certain expectations. So yeah, I think that would be my focus, is to focus on my community and focus on exploring with passion and just not imprisoning myself. That's how I would read it. Now, thank you. Getting deep with these tarot readings. Another thing is reversals. I don't like reversals, so I won't read reversals. I am very particular about making sure that all of the cards in my deck are the same way, facing the same way. So when there is a reversal and I feel like if I drop some cards and then put them face up and they're reversed, I won't read it reversed, I'll just flip it back over. But if I know that I put all of my cards face up or facing the same way and I pull one card that's reversed, I feel like I should read it reversed, so I'll look it up. But most of the time, I don't read reversed. You don't have to if you don't want to. There's already 78 cards. I'm not going to learn 78 more. If you want to read reversals, be my guest if that's what you feel like is important to you. Now, the last thing that I'm going to leave you with is that I like to thank my decks. So when after I'm done reading, I will put all the cards back and I will say thank you. That's it. That's all it is. And keep track of your readings. Date them. Write down what cards you pulled, write down what you got from that reading. It's really up to you how you document it. You can draw out the whole entire spread. You can simply just write a little paragraph. You can write the feelings that you got from it. You can sticky note it if it was like a 6 months from now type of spread. Do whatever works for you. I know that's a reiterating theme here in all of my videos, but that's kind of the point of all of this, is doing what works for you, finding a path, a belief, anything that enriches your life that works for you, because what works for me may not work for you and vice versa. So that's kind of my personal way that I like to read tarot for myself. I will use spreads every so often from where you're sitting. I like to use past, present, future from left to right, or again from left to right. I will use the problem at hand, the current situation, and advice and or the action that needs to be taken, outcome, anything like that. 3-card readings. If you look up different spreads, try some out, feel them out. If you don't like one, don't use it again. If you do like one, keep using it. And just remember that it's going to evolve with the way you do. Like I said, this is a collaboration with Hardest Man in Tarot. Go and check his video out because he is also going to be doing a routine on how he reads for himself. But he's a sweetheart. I really like him. I'm really happy to be able to do this collaboration with him. But yes, until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight. And like I said, I will be coming out with a full tarot video eventually. So don't fret too much on that. Both of these decks are linked below. I will see you Wednesday, and as always, best of luck, be kind to each other, and may your gods treat you as you've treated others. Bye!